Welcome to Sidecast, the little side project. Myself and my co-host Justin decided to try.
Justin.
Yeah, I said Justin.
I know.
Oh, okay. I just making sure. Anyway, we're working on the side project. It's our main show is Sidecast, and we should already have episode 1 up by the time this comes out. But this is our first episode of Sidecast with a
Yeah.
D
On the
and
side.
on the side, and the biggest difference that you will find is that Sidecast, we're going to find a specific topic and only talk about that one topic. And
Yeah, pretty much.
And it'll probably only be two of us as opposed to on the main show where we'll talk about everything under the sun and go on long tangents about things that aren't even related. And we have many more people, probably.
Yeah, exactly. I think 3, 4. Probably not 4. Probably
So
3.
So today we're going to do a side of Korra. Or not Korra. I wanted to say Korra, but
Avatar.
The Avatar
Both
franchise.
Avatars. Actually, all 3. Yeah, the franchise.
The franchise, which would include Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live-action movie by M. Night Shyamalan,
The Last Airbender.
The Last Airbender, the sequel series Korra, The Legend of Korra, and we'll talk probably only a little bit about the comic books that came out, because I don't think either one of us.
I haven't read those.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I know what they're about, but
yeah, kind of. Well, I know a little bit.
I only
didn't check them out.
Yeah, I've read what they were about, but I haven't actually read the actual material itself. So to start off, we decided that a good way to start this show would be what was our favorite episode? Well, you know what's a better start? Here's a better start.
What was our favorite of the shows?
Well, I was gonna say, I started watching the show when it first came out on Nickelodeon. I saw the previews for it, and I was like, I want to see what this show is about. But Justin, you came in by the time the series was finished, and it was already all on Netflix. So what made you
before Korra, though? I started seeing it before Korra and before the M. Night Shyamalan film, but after the series had been out, I think.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure it was all the way out when I watched.
Yeah, because you watched it all on Netflix, so you could.
No, I watched it online, not on Netflix.
Oh, I thought you watched it on. It was on Netflix for a while. I remember that.
Yeah, I watched it again on Netflix like twice, I think.
Oh,
I did really like it. I did really enjoy the show.
So what made you, someone who came in after the show had probably ended by this point, what made you want to watch it?
I don't remember. All I really remember is that I knew it was the thing, but I wasn't really sure what it was or what it was about. But I think I may have heard it. I think maybe you had talked about it or something. And I think we had hung out at one point, and you showed me an episode of it or something, and I thought it was awesome. So at home, I just looked up the series and I started watching it, and I really enjoyed it. And so I just kept watching it. I marathoned the whole series, and then I marathoned it again immediately afterwards.
Like there was no break in between. You watched it,
and then the next day I watched it again. Yeah,
because he was that.
Actually, it took me a few days to marathon all 3 books of the show, and then again.
Yeah, because it's 52 episodes, each episode being 20-some minutes long.
Yeah.
So
22, I would like to say, average.
Right, and then like I said, I caught it. I saw previews for it when it first came out on Nickelodeon, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll check this out, because I was watching everything on TV at that time, and
yeah.
I don't know.
You always watched a lot more TV than I did.
I don't know about you, but that first episode, The Boy in the Iceberg,
No, the first one there's the pilot, according to this list here.
Right, but I don't know.
Says,
I don't know if I think The Boy in the Iceberg is the very first episode, and then there was a pilot to see if
people wanted it.
Right.
I don't know if I've seen that pilot.
I'm sure it's pretty similar to The Boy in the Iceberg.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, okay, yeah. Sorry, The Boy in the Iceberg. Yeah, right. I remember that episode.
So I was watching it, and when I first saw it, I didn't know what to think, because I've never seen anything, especially on Nickelodeon, anything that was
like it.
And I was like, there was another show we were talking about. I think it was a show. Oh no, it was the Percy Jackson book series, and we were saying that the first book was kind of really childish, But if you if you just stuck in with it past
it started to get better as it went.
Right, and I think that's the same for Avatar. When I watched that first episode, I'm like, oh well, this is gonna be a very kid-friendly show.
And it is. It's a very kid-friendly show, but it also turned out to be very adult-friendly as well.
Yeah, because they talked about topics that, other shows, especially Nickelodeon shows, would maybe hint at, but not necessarily, like genocide. What other show is even going to mention? The
big one.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. What other show, barring the fact that it's Nickelodeon, just any other kids show is even going to give you the idea that genocide is a thing.
yeah. Is a thing at all.
Right. But our favorite episode. What was your?
Hold on. In The Boy and the Iceberg, I think the thing that drew me to it most at first was I liked the animals. Because what was it, like a penguin seal or something that he wanted to slide on?
Mm-hmm.
I liked that playful blend of two animals put together, and then I was actually pleased that they did that throughout the Avatar world. But that was, I think, one of the very first things that drew me to it. The next thing being, obviously, the bending. The bending is is one of the things I love the most about it. It's just incredible.
That's actually one of the more unique things, is because I'm sure you and I have both seen many other shows where people can control the elements. Because that's kind of an easy superpower to give someone. Like, hey, we can't
look at Iceman from the X-Men. Boom.
Exactly, and
he controls ice.
Storm controls the weather.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but I like the way they do it.
Right. Very few where it was a fighting style. It wasn't just that they controlled the element. They basically had to learn martial arts to control it.
Exactly.
And it was also. And
I like
really
that it was a lot more common.
Oh, it wasn't. I don't ever remember if there was if they ever said if there were more benders than non-benders or vice versa. But there were definitely more. At least there was enough that if your kid was a bender, it's like, oh, okay.
It wasn't like a super crazy thing.
Right.
But just imagine the shame not shame, the just sadness in being a non-bender in a world of benders.
Because you see all these people being able to do these crazy things, and Side note, we should probably say that we're going to spoil some shit.
Oh yeah, of course, spoilers. We're talking about the episodes and all that. Of course, there's going to be spoilers.
To clarify, though, we haven't even finished the Legend of Korra yet.
Fourth season.
We're on the 4th season. I think we're 4 episodes in.
Yeah, we just haven't finished it.
Right, 3 or 4 episodes in, so we'll probably spoil. If you've seen Not Up to There, you can probably expect to be spoiled if you're going to finish to listen to this. But if you've already finished the show, you know stuff we're not going to know. So
exactly.
We might make assumptions, and you're like, nah, you're fucking retarded. Well, we haven't seen that far.
These boys need to eat a dick.
Is that
we just don't know yet.
Is that what you think they're going to say? These boys need to eat a dick?
Yes, probably.
That's their response. They don't know enough about this show. They need to eat a dick.
Yeah, in reference to both of us.
I will say, I don't know if this was in the first book. I can imagine it would be. But I think the thing that really got me, that was like, I'm going to love this show, was how they explained, I want to say, the original benders. How did they learn to bend the...
Oh, who they learned the original benders, where they learned the bending from.
Right.
Fire, they learned it from the dragons, and it was the sun. Water, they learned it from the moon spirit and the moon by watching the waves. The earthbenders learned it from the badger moles, and the airbenders learned it from the flying bison.
You know what doesn't make sense now that I'm thinking about this?
What's up?
So it said that they learned... Someone said it. I don't know who, but at some point they said, like you said, that each bending style, they learned it from watching something. But if you remember in the episode about Avatar 1, the way they gained the ability to do it was by the giant lion turtles.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't mean they necessarily knew how to do it.
Yeah, but hear me out. So, I mean, you only get to see Avatar 1 and his, lion turtle, and he gave basically firebending to his people.
Yeah, and then he gained the other ones from other lion turtles.
Right, but where I was going with it is if they learned how to bend from dragons,
yeah,
why would the lion turtle give him okay, when the lion turtle touched him, what did it do initially? Nothing, because if they learned how to bend from dragons, you see where I'm going with that?
I get what your argument is or what your statement is. I think the lion turtle just kind of unlocked the power to do it. They're just now able to. It's like say adding a mana bar to a character in a video game. Without that mana bar, you can't do anything. But the moment you get that mana bar, now you've got possibilities. You got to make those possibilities happen. You got to figure out how to use it. You got to go out and learn Fireball or whatever. But just the fact of having the mana bar opens up the door. You know what I mean?
So you think
the lion turtle gives them the ability to go learn it, and then they had to go learn it. He probably just unlocked like a hidden power within them or something, initially.
Okay, and then they you gave him a power. It's like, this power will help you survive, and then they saw some dragons, and then they're like, oh well.
Yeah.
I wish they would have explained that a little bit better, because I'm glad that they explained why there is bending, but they never really explained how they learned to bend.
Yeah.
Well,
I could see it as maybe the lion turtle bestows the power on them and is like, well, now you can command fire. You just got to learn how to. And they're like, what else commands fire? Dragons. And then they just watched the dragons and kind of mimicked the movement in a fighting way, I guess, and learned how to control the fire. You know what I mean? Maybe it's like you can control the earth now. And then they noticed, oh, this is something that the badger moles can do. And then they watched them and studied them and copied their movements and obviously they made it up as they went, but
right.
As they went, they learned, I guess.
You know what? That actually makes sense when you say it like that. I mean, they never say it, but you can assume, knowing what we know, that's probably a good bet as to what happened.
Yeah. And I think we should say also that it's not like we've watched all these episodes anytime recently. We've watched them before, but if we say something that is just not true, we misremember something, don't tell us to eat a dick either.
I mean, leave a comment.
I just thought about that. Yeah. If we get something wrong,
go ahead and leave a comment to tell us that, hey, you forgot this thing. But I mean, we do have a website. Both of us have a website up showing us the episodes, so that we can at least sit there and be like, well, okay, that's right, that happened in that episode.
Yeah, I remember that.
But the first season by itself,
water,
which was water. You know, it was weird. The one episode that really stuck out to me. Well, now I gotta pull it up now because I'm like, well, what am I thinking of again?
Which one was it?
Right. There were just so many good episodes because each episode, while that you could see them as standalone, you really could, I guess. But every one built upon the one prior, and it would have
for the most part.
Yeah, and it'd have a lasting effect on everything. I don't think there was a single episode in the first season that you could say was a throwaway episode, except for maybe The Great Divide.
Yeah, The Great Divide's pretty bad.
I mean, you could look at it as kind of get a better idea.
That's the one with the two tribes?
Yeah, and they go through the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, that one was... Yeah, I feel like... I mean, sure, maybe there was a message there in some way, but I was just like, yeah, whatever.
If you...
I like the cave crawlers, or whatever canyon crawlers, whatever they were called. Those were cool.
The canyon crawlers were cool, but in the end, it's because there's two episodes that the character of Aang, just for whatever reason, acts in a way that is completely different from how he acts for the rest of the show. And it's never the Great Divide and the I think it's Bato of the Water Tribe.
Yeah, that's the one where he lies to his friends.
He lies to his
yeah. Because the messenger brings the message or whatever. We know where your dad is. He's like, no.
Right, he doesn't want them to leave because he doesn't want to be alone, which is a legitimate fear. People, especially
as a little kid.
Right, you got to remember, he's 12 years old. In a world
is he 10 or 12?
He's 12.
12, okay.
I think in the pilot he was 10, but they changed it to 12.
I don't know.
But he's 12 years old. Everybody's ever known, except for Boomy, is dead. And Boomy's 100+ years old.
Mm-hmm. Boomy was awesome.
And you gotta wonder, what the fuck did Boomy do to become as... because he's 112, I think. And he's still buff as shit. He can still bend with the best of them. But if you notice, I don't know of any other characters that are even nearly that old.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what about him made it so that he could live that long and be that fit?
He was just badass. I think that's it.
That's all you need to do, is be a badass earthbender, and you get to live for fucking ever. But
Aang's not 12, he's 112.
Yes, he is 112 chronologically, but he is physically and mentally 12 years old.
Yeah. It says here, biologically 12. In the Promise trilogy, 113, 114, biologically 13, 14. And then in the Search, 114, 115. And then 166 at death.
Oh, it's okay, because he lived to be 66 years old.
Yeah, biologically.
Which I found out, I read somewhere, that the reason he died at 66 is because he used up so much of his energy in that ball.
Yeah, surviving in the iceberg.
Surviving in the iceberg, that it shortened his lifespan.
Yeah, I don't know. Sounds plausible to me.
I mean, that's what I've read. But if you really look at the Great Divide, I think it actually... the ending, you walk away from it, and it might seem like a throwaway episode, but Aang lied to these two groups of people so that they would stop fighting.
Yeah.
So he did a bad thing for the greater good.
Yeah, for a reason. Although, technically you could say greater good, but for the greater good seems, at least to me, to carry some amount of weight. And the two groups fighting, that's not anything too amazing. It's, you know what I mean? He probably could have solved it some other way. I mean, if it was more, way more serious, issue, then yeah, I could see the greater good. But at least for me, it was just kind of whatever. He just lied. I mean, it's cool that they stopped fighting, but whatever. I guess I just really didn't care about the episode at all.
Exactly.
It didn't really capture me.
Well,
except for the crawlers. Yeah, the crawlers were cool. I'll find a redeemable feature. Even though I didn't necessarily really like the episode, but crawlers were pretty cool.
Well, I was thinking the reason I think I'm really thinking about it now is because it's very much like Watchmen, the movie and the book Watchmen. You got a character that wants to stop fighting, and he does something bad. Granted, it's on a much different scale.
Oh yeah.
Aang is lying, and Ozymandias, spoilers, he kills a bunch of people. But
yeah, a lot of people.
But in the end, they're still accomplishing the same thing. They're stopping fighting. And presumably, even though they just say it's fighting, they are using bladed weapons, so you have to assume probably people
I guess that's true.
People have died in this fighting.
Yeah, I guess the reason why it doesn't seem so important to me is that both groups aren't necessarily that large. But I guess any amount of fighting, he's got to break up in some way. But I don't know. I still submit he could have done it in a better way.
Right. But I will say, if there is a throwaway episode, it is the Bado of the Water Tribe, because Aang acts so far out of character. But he is a kid. He's allowed to be selfish.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure put on him. When you really sit down and compare Aang to Korra, yeah, Korra's had to do some crazy shit, but Aang had to stop a war at 12 years old, learn how to bend all the elements except for air in a year.
Yeah.
He had to put up with, and he had to deal.
He got shot with lightning. And he had to deal with the genocide of his people. He is literally the last of his kind. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they just kept stacking it on him. And I give a lot of credit to Korra.
And everybody is always looking to him because he's the Avatar. Whether it be to capture him, or for him to fix things for them, or for him to do his avatar duty and make things better or what have you, everybody is relying on him to do what he needs to do, to put things in balance. And that sounds very vague to me. Like, he's a little kid. All he knows is he has this immense power that nobody else has, and his job is to bring balance to fucking everything. So.
Right, and
he's dealing with some heavy shit.
He's dealing with some really heavy shit. I mean, this is a legitimate war. This is a world war, for all intents and purposes. Korra had to deal with, like...
Well, it's more the last dregs of a world war. Like, it's already... They've done a huge part... Well, not necessarily the last dregs, but it's a war that's been going on for a long time.
Right, for 100 years.
Exactly. So at this point, it's not necessarily peacetime, but it's not like necessarily super intense fighting time. You know what I mean?
Now here's the crazy thing you got to think.
So Aang shows up, obviously.
The Firebenders must have really just taken their time because, I mean, wars. The second World War lasted, I think, 7-8 years, and this war lasted 100 years.
Yeah.
That is an incredibly long time for a war to be going on, you know, and them not win. I mean,
and that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like it's not necessarily peacetime, but they're not in. They don't have the whole juggernaut chugging on, you know, the war machine.
I'm surprised that, like, okay, so the Fire Nation started the war by attacking the air nomads and essentially wiping them out because they were looking for the Avatar, because they knew he would be an air nomad.
Yeah.
But so when they got wiped out, it makes sense because they weren't expecting it. But why wouldn't? Because you find out later that the Northern Water Tribe got all of their benders, save for Qatar, because they didn't know, were taken away. Now, why wouldn't the Southern Water Tribe and like the Earth Kingdom combine forces and just take out the Fire Nation?
I don't know.
You know, they never addressed that. They kind of do when Aang gets them together, but why in 100 years especially would that not have been an idea for them to have?
Because, wait, did you say the Waterbenders were taken from the Northern Tribe or the Southern Tribe?
I'm pretty sure it was the Northern Tribe, right?
Nah, because Katara came from the Southern Tribe, didn't she?
Oh, okay, then switch it.
Siege of the North. But yeah, but I don't know. Up in the north, in the big ass like ice city, they seem like they're very away from the rest of the world, kind of closed off to themselves. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You were really quiet there for a second.
That's because I was drinking water. I was drinking water.
Oh, okay.
I try to drink water, but I try to do it when
I'm talking.
When you're talking, so I wasn't like when you were like when you were waiting for me to answer. I'm like, fuck, I'm in the middle of a big fucking water.
I thought I heard you say, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
but
okay, no more about this throwaway shit. I'm ready to. Let's talk about what our favorite is.
All right. Do you know what yours is off the bat? Because I'm looking at. I'm sitting here looking, and I guess if I had to pick, if I really had to pick, it'd probably be the Deserter.
The Deserter. Which one was that?
With Zhang Zhang.
Ah, yes, Zhang Zhang. Okay.
So to remind the viewers, the listeners, the Deserter is the episode where they're searching. Aang is just generally searching at this point for anybody, any master that can teach him an element. And at this point, all he's really had to go on is him and Qatar learning from some scrolls. And that's about it. That's as far as waterbending is going. So he hears about this firebending master that deserted the Fire Nation. He's no longer a part of them, and his name is Zhang Zhang. And he finds him, and Zhang Zhang decides to train him because with a little coaxing from Avatar Roku. And
coaxing.
But what happens is Zhang Zhang tries to teach him breathing and control because firebending is one of the more dangerous ones.
It's wild.
It's wild. You can start it, and it can just go on
untamed.
Right, and then Aang, being a kid, just once he figures out actually how to, shoot fire out of his hands, accidentally burns Katara on the palms of her hands, And
fucked her up.
and this has
And it felt awful.
Yeah, he felt so bad about this that he would not bend fire again until the final season because he hurt it. He hurt a person that he cared so much about, and and I thought that was, of all the episodes, that was the one because it showed a firebender that wasn't a bad guy, and I was really happy to see that because I was hoping they wouldn't just make every firebender a bad guy.
Everyone evil. Yeah.
Right, and it showed that Aang can mess up, like bending wise.
Oh yeah.
Because when you watch him waterbend, he just picks it up so fast, and you're just like, oh, okay, all he has to do is find a master, and he'll pick it up really fast. But this shows that no, he can still mess up. He still has to learn it. He's just really well gifted because he's the Avatar.
Exactly. It's going back to the Manabar thing. He's just got a bigger Manabar than everybody else, so he's got the ability to do things a lot easier. He just still got to learn it, though.
I don't know if that's a good analogy because a Manabar would mean that he has a lot of excess power, like a lot of excess energy reserves. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I know it's not perfect, but you get what I'm
I get
conveying.
what you're saying, though. Yeah.
I was just bringing that up because I had talked about it earlier.
But I will say a good runner-up for me is the fortune teller, just because of how funny it was that Sokka was just trying to prove that she was not a real fortune teller.
Fortune teller with the volcano.
And you never know. By the end of that episode, you still don't know if what she said was if she actually was a fortune teller or if
she was really telling or like foretelling.
Right, or if it was just coincidence.
Yeah. Damn, I remember that one.
I can probably guess yours.
Well, hold on. I would like to say that I haven't watched this first season in a long time, so a lot of this is a little bit fuzzy. So, but yeah, go ahead and try and guess what my favorite was, or favorites.
Probably
two or
the
three.
King of Omashu. My guess for you would be either the King of Omashu, the Warriors of Kyoshi, or one of the two-parters.
Siege of the North?
Siege of the North, or the...
Is Avatar Roku the one where you learn about the past with the previous Fire Lord and all that with Roku and the volcano and all that?
No, that's not going to happen until like season 3, I think.
Ah, okay. Then which one's Avatar Roku?
You know, I don't know.
I don't really remember. I remember the first part of that where... Is that the one with... Was it where Cho the face stealer or something?
I know it's...
The panda spirit?
I know the first part has the panda spirit.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. King of Omashu because of Boomy. Warriors of Kyoshi because I just liked it.
Well, because of Kyoshi, and I know that's like one of the avatars that you care.
Suki and all of them.
Right.
Yeah. I like the Kyoshi Warriors.
Right.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty cool. But I also really liked... I like the Waterbending Master, not really because of anything to do with Katara or anything. I mean, I thought it was cool that, she got to be trained and all that shit, whatever. The thing I liked about it is I liked the actual fighting, and I liked that Katara just shows up and she's like, I'm going to take on this master. And you could tell he's definitely better, but it's like, she's got some skills. I thought that was pretty cool because it's one of the first times you really get to see her skills. You know what I mean?
Right. You know what's weird?
She's better than you really think she is.
The weird thing about the water tribes is that they're the only benders that are sexist.
Yeah.
Like, all the women are healers, all the men are fighters, but all the other nations, men and women, can be soldiers, regardless.
Yeah. Well, that's just in the north, but yeah. That's because that's tradition. They're clinging to archaic tradition.
That they are. But it is what it is. But do you know what your favorite episode is?
Yeah, I guess if I had to pick one, it was also another ones that I really like is obviously the Siege of the North, and one of the best moments for me is I think it's in the second part when Katara and Zuko are fighting, and then like everybody shows up and Zhao is about to burn the fish. And then when Iroh talks to him, and what he says. I thought that was just fucking badass.
It was really cool to see, when he I don't know if he kills the fish or if he just mortally wounds the fish.
Yeah, but he fucks everything up in that moment.
Right, he fucks the moon up, and all the waterbenders
the moon
lose
spirit.
their bending, and which
did they lose their bending?
Yeah, remember they lost their bending.
Yeah, Aang didn't though because of the water spirit or the ocean spirit, spirit of the ocean or whatever.
Yeah, it gave him the ability to bend the ocean, but
which was awesome.
What a weakness! Like, I don't know if any of the other. Well, the moon, the fish.
Well, the fish, yeah.
Yeah, they never say that any of the other bending has that
have
weakness.
This crippling weakness where you could wipe it out.
Right. I guess they might
Conspiracy theory. Earth.
They might have it.
Earth is just the Avatar world where all the bending has been stamped out.
That would suck.
That would suck.
Because then it would just be our world, but slightly different because they had bending.
Sad.
But I was going to say maybe it's because they're really overpowered because water is most everywhere. But nah, air is the most overpowered because that is literally everywhere.
Yeah, but I think as far as straight up power goes, I think Earth, because everybody is already touching Earth, and it's very easy to just pull them under. You know what I mean? And then the Earth itself will do your job for you. They'll suffocate. They'll be crushed under the weight of the Earth. Like, air is quick, but how fast would it, or how long would it take to suck the air out of somebody's lungs? Like, yeah, the air gets sucked out, but I still pull you underground. You die, now I get the air back. You know what I mean? Like,
well, versus
you're no longer bending me.
Versus an airbender, it'd be really hard because he could. First of all, they can fly.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking. If you're both standing there, is he going to be able to fire off air at you before you can just pull him under? He's already literally touching the ground. You just pull him into a sand tomb or a rock tomb and an earth tomb or whatever, and he's just stuck there. He's just crushed.
I think the only one who would have a chance is firebenders, and that's just because they might be able to melt the rock around them.
But can firebenders like withstand lava?
Well, there was that lava bender from Korra.
Yeah, but could they melt? Well, but the lava bender was an earthbender.
That is true.
Yeah, he wasn't the firebender.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, could they bend the lava fast enough? Could they heat it up, turn it to lava, and then bend it? Because they would be literally, they're not like in a cave underground. They're surrounded. They're pulled underground. All around them is the earth.
You know, it's really funny that they don't do that. Like, why don't they use... Because they only really use it...
Boomy does, doesn't he?
He sucks a guy underground?
It sucks Katara.
No, you're
And then he encases him in the... No, it was the one dude to force... Yeah, it was to force the Avatar state.
Right.
Yeah, but boom, it's possible. You see how easy it is.
Yeah, but an airbender can put your head in a fucking air bubble and suffocate you to death.
I think it'd be cooler if they just put air into your lungs and popped them.
If that was not a Nickelodeon show, they probably could. But, yeah, so what, do you have a favorite episode?
Absolute favorite.
I mean, I just kind of looked and was like, you know...
Probably King of Omashu, just because Boomy was just so awesome.
I fucking called it.
Yep. Boomy is just so awesome.
The next season, the next book's going to be harder because that's got your girl in it. Nah, probably not, because you might just like the introduction of Toph, which is called The Blind Bandit.
Yep, The Blind Bandit. And Book 2 Earth is my favorite of the three.
Alright, let's move on to fucking Book 2, Earth.
Book 2, Earth. Earth. Yeah, what's your favorite?
Well, it's kind of hard.
The Chase, I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, you know what? It's tough because...
The Desert and the Library. Those ones were awesome.
There were some really, really good episodes. Like The Chase. You got to see everybody working together for the very first time. Everybody attacked a single target together, and you'd never seen that before. and it was really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Everybody too, even like Zuko and well, I guess Iroh got shot. But
Ira got shot because she knew. Because that was actually really brilliant on Azula's part. Because she's like,
she's always brilliant.
who's the biggest threat here? Iroh is. I got to take him out.
Yep, easily Iroh. Like, and that's another awesome scene when he does the demonstration at the Dragon of the West fire breathing. That was just fucking awesome.
You know why they call me the Dragon of the West? That wasn't in this. That wasn't in this book, was it?
Yeah, yeah, it was in Ba Sing Se. Remember?
Huh.
They were gonna deliver. They were gonna serve tea for the king or the emperor or whatever.
Oh.
And when they got there, she was there waiting, and she's like, "Oh, look at me! You want to know why they call me the Dragon of the West?
The Dragon of the West.
I don't have time for one of your boring anecdotes or whatever she says. It's really more of a demonstration."
I think there were a lot more emotional episodes in book 2 because you've got stuff like the Zuko alone. You've got Appa's Lost Days.
Tales of Ba Sing Se.
The Tales of Ba Sing Se is possibly the saddest episode in the entire show, and it's only because of like a 5 to 10 minute clip in it.
Yeah.
Iroh's story. My God! But it was also, if you remember, it was the first episode starring the new voice actor for Iroh because Mako, the voice actor Mako had died.
Yeah, yeah.
And he didn't get a chance.
Which is sad, but you know, Aku,
he was Aku in Samurai Jack, and
yeah, hell yeah.
But favorite episode, man, Zuko alone was really good. The desert, the library.
Zuko alone was a little tragic.
Yeah, because it showed that Zuko wants to be a good guy. You know, deep down he's a good guy, but
yeah, he's morally upright.
Right, it's just his upbringing is kind of skewed as what he wants out of life because he's so determined to get his pride back for a good portion of the time, and then
because that's what he thinks he wants.
Right.
He just wants to be loved by daddy.
Right. And mom, which I remember that was kind of a big thing that you never found out what happened to the mom.
Ursa, was that the name?
Ursa, yeah. Which, if you know, Ursa means bear. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
But Avatar Day was kind of funny.
Yeah, well, that's the one where they actually didn't like the Avatar, because of Kyoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
They blamed.
She just like makes an island, and the dude just like falls to his death.
Yeah. Fucking Kyoshi lived to be like 300-400 years old.
Yeah, the oldest Avatar. What a beast.
What a beast.
But I tend to love the earthbending. That's my thing.
And this is just chock full of it since they were in
Yep, the Earth Kingdom.
And they introduced your favorite character, Toph.
Toph. Yep, absolutely.
This
bitch. If you don't know, I don't know why you'd be watching this if you didn't know, but this bitch.
Oh, I thought there was you were gonna like this bitch.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Toph is awesome. I don't know. She's really cool.
She
invents fucking metal bending.
She invents metal bending, and she is
and I love what they did with her in the Legend of Korra. I love the way she acts. She's a bitch. I love it.
She is a total bitch. She just does not care.
And I love her children too. Like, it's just great. It's just great.
Oh, fuck. What's her older daughter's name?
Lin.
Lin Bei Fong, and I don't remember the younger daughter's name. But
no, yeah, it's
Lin Bei Fong, which is the older one, and then
Sue. Is it? It's Sue something maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah.
But if I had to pick, I guess I'd have to go with Zuko alone because, like I've told you, I think I liked Zuko's character arc better than Aang's character arc.
Yeah.
And this focused wholly on him, and it was a really good episode.
It gave you all that fix you needed. Gave you your Zuko fix.
Pretty much. And then
pretty much. Yep. That was good.
And then Tales of Ba Sing Se, if only for the Iroh part.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm looking through here, and it's like I like that one. Return to Omashu when he bends with his face, and is that the first time you get to see Maya and Ty Lee actually fight?
I think so.
So that one was pretty cool. The swamp was okay. There were better ones, but it wasn't bad. Avatar Day again, it was pretty good. The Blind Bandit, loved it. Zuko Alone was really good. The Chase was really good. Bitter Work. Do you remember what that one was?
Bitter Work is the one where where Aang starts getting trained by Toph, and he has a really hard time with it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That was pretty good too. I like that one. Mostly because of all the earthbending, and I like seeing the way Toph teaches, and like I liked that it was very different from Katara, and I liked that Aang didn't get it right away because, it made him seem more like he's like a fucking kid and he's got to figure this shit out. And obviously, the fact that it's the opposite of his bending, it's gonna come hard to him.
Right.
Yeah, I liked all that. That was actually a really good one. The library was great. I liked the big ass fucking owl spirit or whatever. The desert was great. Sokka was freaking out. I liked that one. The Serpent's Pass was a little whatever. Again, it's another one I just didn't really care about.
Right, because
the drill was really cool.
The drill was cool.
But that was mostly what it was. Like, I didn't really care for anything in it. It was just really cool. It was like an action filler episode, kinda, for me at least.
Right. And then like the conspiracy in this book was really good.
Yeah, I loved that. When they actually got to Ba Sing Se, and they're like, "Oh, we finally got here," and then it's like, "Oh shit, this isn't what we thought." City of Walls and Secrets. That's the one where they first meet. What's her name, Judy? And at the end of the episode, it's a different chick.
Oh, okay.
And okay, so yeah, I think that's that one. That one was really well. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty good. Tales of Ba Sing Se, yeah, it was great. We already went over that. Appa's Lost Days, that one was really good because like Appa was just missing, and it's like, what the fuck is going on with him? And then for me at least, at some point it's just kind of like, okay, he's gone. I expected him to come back at some point. Like I didn't expect him to just be gone, but I kind of stopped caring. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, whenever he shows back up, cool. But he was just kind of gone, so out of sight, out of mind in a way. And then so it was nice to know what was going on. And then it was like, oh shit, look at all this shit he had to fucking go through. You know what I mean?
Right. Him and Momo. Well, no, I'm thinking of Tales of Ba Sing Se, the one about Momo, and he's trying to find Appa. And he actually gets really close.
Yep, very close.
He just never. You didn't know about the revolving fucking platform.
Yep.
Lake Logai was really good. You get to see what happened.
I think is what it was. Lake Laogai, maybe. Anyway,
you got to see what happened to Jet.
Yep.
Not that he was ever
which was cool. I liked that he like was kind of brainwashed or whatever, and I liked the way they did it with the lantern.
Right. Not that he was ever really a major character. He was more just. You saw him in the first book, and in this book, he was actually on, I want to say, a ship with Zuko and Iroh, or a train or something,
like a refugee ship.
Right, and they
stole food.
Right, and they became really close friends. But then Jet got paranoid because he thought that they were, and rightfully so, he thought they were.
Yeah, of course. He saw him heat his tea.
He didn't see him heat it. He just saw that at one point it was not hot, and then
it was.
And then it was, and he's like, "Wait a minute, with shit." And it's sad that he died. I guess they never really say for sure. They actually make a joke about that later.
Yeah, later.
You don't know if he's dead, but you can assume the fact that they never bring him up, and that most deaths in this show, even though it's not 100% concrete, like you don't see a body, you just sure. You know they're dead.
Yeah. Anyway, Lake Laogai, the Earth King. Yeah. Which one was? This one was. This one was when the three dressed as the Kyoshi warriors took over. When they actually, because I think they were invited in by the Earth King, and then this was when they took over, right?
Right.
And what was the Dai Li agent's the leader? What was his name? Fuck.
Oh, I don't remember his name. He wasn't that important.
Well, yeah, he really wasn't, but uh, I'm pretty sure. At least I think this is the episode
Long
where
Fang, that's his name.
Long Fang. Yeah, yeah. Where oh, what? Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the episode. I think that's the episode.
The episode that what?
The the one where they take over.
Oh, okay, yeah. They take over,
Yeah.
and then they leave, and then the Guru was the next one, which was really kind of cool. You know,
I liked that.
Aang learning about the chakras and choosing to not open the last one because he'd have to give up his love for Katara to do it.
Yeah, the cosmic one, I believe. Cosmic chakra.
Right.
I thought it was really cool because it was very like it was very like self-enlightening. It was very spiritual in that aspect, and I thought it was really cool.
And then the Crossroads. Sorry, excuse me. The Crossroads of Destiny was really.
I'm kind of tired too.
Yeah, dude, I just got off work from 13 hours. I'm fucking dead tired. But the Crossroads of Destiny was really, really good. Like they stepped up the finale from last season.
Yeah, they did. I loved that one. And I loved when Toph. Well, no, I think it was in the Guru when Toph invents metal bending. That was like the coolest fucking part of the entire book.
Right. And then Aang gets shot in the back with lightning, and you're just like, oh,
yes.
Shit. And Zuko.
I didn't see it coming.
I figured something was gonna happen because he's just sitting there.
He was going into it, and I was like, oh shit, he's about to unleash some fucking. He's about to fuck them all up. I thought he was gonna go all mega coy again and just kind of like whoop some ass. But then it's just like zap. Nope.
What if he turned into like a mega shit? What was the badger mole? Like a mega badger mole?
A super badger mole?
Yeah.
And it's just like covered in rocks and like crystals. That'd be kind of cool, I guess. But
I think that'd be really cool. But if we're gonna get through this, I don't know if we can go through every episode. We might have to just hit the highlights.
Yeah, that's true.
So, do you have?
How long have we been going for?
About 50 minutes.
Okay. Do you want to continue after book 3 and go into Korra, or do you want to just call it after that and do Korra at a later date?
Let's see how long it takes to get through the next season or the next book.
Yeah, book 3, Fire.
Fire.
And this one is your favorite book?
This is my favorite because if you haven't figured it out, Justin's favorite bending style was Earth, and my favorite bending style was Fire.
Yep. Earth is just too badass. And I love all the Earthbenders. Kyoshi and Toph and fucking Boomy. And I like Bolin and Korra. It's just cool.
It was.
The Awakening, the headband. Nah. Painted Lady, nope. Sokka's Master. That one was kind of cool.
Sokka's Master was cool, but in the end, pointless.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean,
well, not necessarily. It taught Sokka a lesson. Like, you know, I'm not as useless as I really think I am.
I don't know about other people, but I think the biggest bullshit about Sokka in the final season is that he gets his really cool space sword and then loses it.
Yeah.
Like, why even?
Plus, what happened to Suki in Korra? What the hell happened to Suki?
Well, we haven't finished. She might show up.
That would be really cool if she did.
Because we still don't know what happened to Sokka.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said he's dead though.
Yeah, I think he did die.
So I mean, Suki could still be alive, but we don't know because they're just like fuck Suki. We don't need to know shit about her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Sokka moved on. Whatever.
The beach was a cool episode because you got to see Azula. Actually, you got to see all of them not in a battle scenario, but just kind of in a day-to-day life.
Yeah. That is true, and that was pretty cool. And that's the one where they towards the end they're like crowded around the fire.
Right. They talk about their
and they're
shit.
like pissed off at each other for all these different reasons, but at the same time they're like kind of working through it.
Yeah.
That one was I like that. I like the character development.
But dude, the Avatar and the Fire Lord. I don't know.
Yes, that one. the one I was talking about earlier. This episode. This episode was freaking off the chain.
Wasn't it though?
If I may say.
It was off the chain. It was just cool to see uh, a whole episode dedicated to other avatars. Because yeah, Aang is cool, but there's so many other characters, that other avatars to look at.
Exactly. I'm very interested in the other avatars. I think that's also why the Tale of Wan is so fucking cool. It's like nice to see someone else.
It was cool because Wan was the first, so you really got to see how that shit
Yeah,
got
it was
started.
extra epic.
The Runaway, which is
oh, that's the one where they dupe people and Katara gets pissed, and then Sparky Boom Man shows up, right?
Right, and Sparky Boom Man was a cool concept. He bends combustion.
Yeah, combustion bending. But I think the more pressing thing is Katara sweat bends to get out of a wooden like crate or prison.
Oh yeah, and then she cuts the wood
what?
by
her sweat.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool, but the Puppet Master.
I thought it was comical.
The Puppet Master was probably one of the scariest episodes.
Oh, it was baller, and I do like it because it was so creepy.
It was very atmospheric.
And I'm just into that kind of creepy shit. I like that. I'm into death metal, so I like skeletons and I like fucking gore and brutal shit. That one was really creepy, and I liked that. I liked just the whole concept of bloodbending. It's very like powerful. Like you bloodbend a person, what are they gonna do? They're your puppet. It was creepy, and I really liked that. That was awesome.
It was sad that the woman, I don't remember her name, but the woman that Hama, she turned into a monster because of the situation she was put.
What she was put into, yeah.
Yeah.
She wasn't just a monster.
She wasn't evil to begin with, and I don't know. Mm-hmm. I guess she is evil, kinda, but she's just really angry at Firebenders for what they did to her, and so she kills Firebenders. Actually, she kills Fire Nation.
Yeah. Not even Firebenders, just people of the nation, which is where her big mistake is that she's indiscriminately killing people, as opposed to the people that have literally wronged her. And I kind of like. There's a sort of parallel later with the the Southern Raiders with Katara, because she had to bloodbend to beat Hama. And she's like, I'm not going to bloodbend. This is kind of gross. And then later she brings it up because she's just in such a rage, and it's almost like she's just like that old woman, because the woman, because of what happened to her by the Fire Nation, her anger sprouted in her and she started to do the bad. And then she spiraled and she became, I guess, evil, where we kind of see Katara doing the same thing. She's starting to descend into this anger. It's like, oh, she could become bad. I mean, she's not going to, because it never happens, but you start to see this like darkness in her, but then she controls it, and then you get to really see how she's just much better than this other woman, this old lady that turned evil.
Right, and
I
think
you got to expect the old woman has got to be a really talented waterbender, because as far as we know, she invented bloodbending, like, as far as we know. And if that's the case, she had to be pretty powerful. And then you see Katara immediately know how to do it and then whoop her ass. It's another thing. It's for me, there are a lot of moments where Katara's waterbending just seems kind of like, oh, she's a waterbender. But then there are these moments where it's like, oh yeah, she is like the fucking best. She's like super strong. She's super, super good. It's because of her will, but
right, well, it's funny because everybody in the Avatar gang,
yeah,
except for Sokka because he's not a bender, but the rest of them are progenies.
Prodigies? Actually, I'm going to look up the difference between those two words because I'm not entirely sure.
A prodigy is someone, I think, that's very highly skilled at a young age, and a progeny is like your student or your underling, but you'll say like my progeny.
It's the person that you have built up. Okay, prodigy, progeny, protege. So let's see what the difference is in here. Your progeny are your kids though it would be pretty pretentious to refer to them as such. If your child is a brilliantly outstanding person, he or she may be a child prodigy. In fact, anything amazingly admirable, can be a prodigy. But a person that you take under your wing in order to help promote his or her career is your protege.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I guess, there you go.
And then you've got, let's see, Nightmares and Daydreams, which is just, really what you get out of it is Aang's having a hard time sleeping because he's afraid of the Fire Lord. And he has...
what's he going to do? How is it? This is,
do?
I think, the first time you really get the question. Like, it may have come up at some point, but this is when they really start to bring the theme of... Because I feel like the theme of this whole book is Aang's got to beat the Fire Lord, but he can't kill him. And so this is kind of one of the very first places where that fear, like, how am I going to beat him? How am I going to not kill him and all that? It kind of comes into question. If I remember correct.
And then you have the Day of Black Suns parts 1 and 2, which is cool because you get to see how nature affects the benders. You know, without the sun in the sky, they're not.
They can't bend.
They can't bend. So,
and if there is a moon spirit somewhere that can be killed to stop water bending, there's got to be some fire spirit somewhere that, if killed, can stop the light of the sun, which cosmically seems kind of crazy.
I could see if they have something like that, it'd be in like the heart of a volcano.
Or it could be like a dragon somewhere in the heart of a volcano, just slumbering in the lava.
Yeah.
The first firebender or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. He taught he gave the power of fire to the turtles. But whatever. I personally would like to see more Avatar, but further back with more mysticism and more spiritualism and more like, not magic, but essentially magic. You know what I mean?
Right.
But anyway, moving on. Day of Black Sun.
No, moving on from
it's because it's a two-parter. Like,
right.
More shit. The invasion was pretty cool. I like that everybody, like, you got to see what all these people were doing, and all these people that Aang became friends with and helped throughout his journey, they show up to help. It's like, hey, we need friends. So that's kind of cool that it's almost like the people are actually still there. It's not just, oh, we had an episode about them and we'll never see them again. I thought that was pretty cool.
And then
the eclipse.
The eclipse is just the actual invasion, and Zuko actually faces off against his father. Neither one can bend.
Yes.
But
yes. Zuko, and then the lightning comment, you afraid I'll redirect it or whatever.
Right.
Oh man, and that's the moment when he's like, fuck you, Dad. I'm going to shed this bullshit. I'm going to teach the Avatar. And that's when you're really like, fuck yes, Zuko, you finally did it. You finally redeemed your redemption, or redeemed your redemption. Redeemed your betrayal. You've achieved redemption.
Right. I don't really remember the Western Air Temple all that much.
That was the one they were just kind of there, and then Sparky Boom Man showed up, and then Zuko showed up and helped them, and then they're like, oh, okay. That was the one where they're like, no, you're not, get away, you burn Toph's feet. You burn
Toph's feet, and then Katara didn't like him because of what happened at the end of the second book.
Exactly. The betrayal, the big betrayal, which was, for more than one person.
Oh, the Firebending Masters, dude, was such a good episode because you got to see fucking dragons.
Yes, and I love the little comment like, Iroh is what protect these ones. He was supposedly the one to kill the last of the dragons, but instead Iroh was like, I'm the coolest motherfucker, so he doesn't kill them. And he learns the source of true firebending from them. Like, that is awesome. I love the idea that Aang and Zuko come here, and it's like, holy shit, this civilization, this is incredible. Nobody knows this is real. But then it's like, oh, well, my super amazingly awesome uncle did, and this is where he learned it, and now Zuko's learning it too. It's just like it's a really cool episode.
Yeah.
And I like the actual tornado of colors that the dragons made. It's like, holy shit, their firebending is on such a much higher level. It's kind of incredible. And then that makes the whole idea of that combustion bender in Korra, she's that much more powerful in your mind, because this obviously proves that in this show dragons are crazy and she bends the fucking dragon's fire, if you recall.
Yeah. Do you remember why they actually went to go see the Sun Warriors?
Zuko didn't have enough anger, so he like couldn't really firebend.
Right.
And like, well, what the fuck? Well, we got to learn a different way. So they went. I think Iroh had hinted that the sun was the way, and that the Sun Warriors were like they were a thing and whatever. And so Zuko was just kind of like, well, there are supposed to be some ruins over here, so maybe we can get some clues.
Right. Let's see. The Boiling Rock. Let's see how much fucking more episodes. Okay. So the Boiling Rocks part 1 and 2. They go to the. What do? They go to a prison, basically Alcatraz. Their version of Alcatraz.
Middle of a boiling lake.
Right, because they think that they think that Sokka and Zuko go, and because Sokka thinks that his father will be there, and they run into Suki, and they start a riot, and they actually do meet Sokka's father, but he decides to stay, I think.
Yeah, something I don't remember exactly.
Right, but I do know
that one was the reason I liked these is one cool thing is Zuko shows up, nobody trusts him. The Firebending Masters happens. That's Aang going off and having his little adventure. Boom, now Aang kind of trusts Zuko more. The Boiling Rock is where Sokka and Zuko kind of get to become more trusted. And then it's really cool because I like Suki, so we get to see what's up with her. The Kyoshi Warriors didn't get fucking slaughtered or whatever you may have thought. You get to see his father, and the thing I liked the most about it was in the second one where Mai and Ty Lee kind of like go against what Azula's doing in a way, and I guess betray her, and she's just like, fucking, okay, you guys are dead. That's one of those like unhinging moments for Azula. I really thought that was great.
Right, because at this point, Zuko and Mai have kind of started a relationship.
Yep, and they're in love. Like, they're rocky, but they seem like they should be meant to each other, or meant for each other.
Right.
My
and then Ty Lee she never really wanted to go with Azula to begin with. She only went because she was threatened.
Yeah, she was threatened. Exactly.
So
those ones are pretty good. Southern Raiders.
The Southern Raiders was really good because it was just a parody of everything that had happened up to that point. No,
that's the Ember Island players.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. The Southern Raiders is the one where Katara goes out with
the Katara.
And
she gets her moment to trust him now.
Right, because they go to find her mother's killer. And the greatest part was, no, she doesn't kill her, or kill the guy in charge, but she doesn't forgive him either.
Exactly, which is kind of nice.
And Aang's like, you gotta forgive him to move on. And she's like, I can never forgive him. But I can forgive you, Zuko. And it's like, you go.
Okay, yeah, I didn't kill your dad, or your mom. I didn't kill your mom. And I like the blood bending when she crumples the dude up.
Right, on the ship.
Yeah, and that's, as I was talking about earlier on the Puppet Master, that's that moment where it's kind of like, oh shit, she's starting to go bad. And then when she stops the rain and she's going to like spear the dude, it's like, fuck, bitch, you got to dial that back a bit. And then she does, and you're like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So it is a great episode.
The Ember Island players, which I already said is just they go to watch
comedic recap.
Or comedic recap. Just kind of making fun of the characters and over-exaggerating some of their aspects. Like Toph is a buff male that yells, that's how he sees.
I love it. I love it. I'm Toph, because it sounds like tough. You're she's like, is that a guy? It's like, nah, it's so funny now, is it? It's like, no, I love it. I wouldn't have cast it any other way.
Yeah, Toph just loves that fact. And Zuko's
my opinion on it. You go.
Zuko was a little whiny. Like they made Aang a girl. I mean, yeah, he's a guy, but he's acted out as a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think one of the funniest
sobbing all
the time. One of the funniest lines is when they get to Jet and he falls under the rock and they're like, "Is he dead?"
I'm not sure if he died. Yeah,
it's not made clear.
Basically, my opinion of that episode is just whatever Nostalgia Critic said. I pretty much agreed with him. Just like, it's like a perfect recap. You know what I mean? It's a great way that they recap without It's like, I don't know, it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's really good, and it's great because it's right before the big finale. So it's kind of like that last point where it's like, okay, the show's gonna end after this, but now the big event is happening. This is Sozin's Comet. The entire series has led up to this point.
Right.
Ember Island Players is nice because it's kind of like a last little rest before Epic.
Right. So as a whole, not talking about each individual episode, but as a whole, the Sozin's Comet was really cool because you get to find out that
much.
When the comets arrived, because that was what they were trying to do. They were trying to stop the Fire Lord before the comet came, because it would be a lot harder after that point. And he's like, I'm going to. Not only did he want to rule the world, but he wanted to burn everything to start the world anew.
Yeah, which is more crazy fucking genocidal shit.
And you got to see, and he saw himself as basically the ruler of the world, because he was no longer the Fire Lord. He was the Phoenix King.
The Phoenix King Ozai. Imagine if he had won and they had successfully burned the world, and then the world was rebuilt entirely populated by firebenders. But then imagine that because they're all firebenders, they work so well in their... Like, they're all so patriotic, they don't need to do anything. And, I mean, you saw the way their schools were. They're all, like, super efficient, and they create an actually better future. Imagine that. Maybe Ozai was correct all along, and Aang showed up as just stopped, Utopia from being built eventually.
What if Aang was the bad guy?
Yeah, what if?
What if? We'll never know.
But no, I agree with Aang's actions.
It was cool to see Zuko fighting Azula.
Oh, that was pretty badass.
But then
and she went nut shit. I like that she went batshit crazy.
She had a vision of...
I liked it.
She saw her mom in the mirror and talked to her, and it was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. She was just firing everybody because she didn't trust anybody at that point.
Mm-hmm. And when she gets captured by Katara, and she's just breathing fire, just screaming.
Did you agree? Cool. Did you agree with the fact that it wasn't Zuko who beat Azula? It was Katara.
I didn't really care because... I don't know. It didn't matter to me who really won the fight, because I just knew that she may have been better skilled, but Zuko was just better. He was like a better firebender, if that makes any sense.
I don't know.
He learned like the true understanding of firebending from the masters. He doesn't bring his fire out of his rage. He brings it out of the calm within him in his breath. Like, I feel like he was a more fully realized, superior firebender. She was just good. She was just really good, but she didn't understand firebending on a level as him. So I didn't really need to see him win a fight. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I was content with the fact that he was... Look at him. He's just... This is fully realized Zuko. This is ballin' as Zuko. And then the self-sacrifice, he finally... he's caring about someone who was once an enemy. Like, this is the true turnaround. I don't know.
Right. But I think it was a good way to end the show. It was a cool...
this is great.
All in all, beginning to end, it was a good show. Yeah, there's going to be a couple episodes in this... Because there's... Actually, it says here there's 61 episodes.
61.
So yeah. You're not going to love every single episode. But you're going to probably like every episode you come
across. A lot, yeah. Yeah. It's great. I enjoyed it. Book 2 is my favorite.
Book 3, man, because it was just fucking... What can I say?
Well, for me, Book 2 just had, like... It's like... Let me go over here and count all these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... 12, 13. Yeah, pretty much the entire season is like just awesome. I loved them. Great. I'm just looking through here. I love all these. And yeah, there are definitely a lot of really good ones in the third season, but there's just more meh for me.
Right, I can see it. I felt the same way about...
I love Toph.
I like the second way about Book 2. I mean, it was really good, but Season 3 was the one I've been looking forward to since Book 1. I'm like, I'm waiting for fire. I've been waiting for this since the fucking first episode.
Exactly.
But I think the this is a good place to stop because Korra is not going to take as long because it's a lot. There's a lot fewer episodes.
And we should do Korra once we've seen the rest of it.
Okay, we can then. I mean, that might take a while because we started season 3 together. We watched it together and we finished it, and then we started on season 4, and we're waiting to finish it together.
Yeah, it's just obviously life, work, and shit like that.
Right, life gets in the way, and but when we do, we will have a part about Korra, and when we do that, we'll also talk about the comics because Korra is
I won't know much about the comics.
Right, we'll just talk about, I'm like, shit, they're so short because one is just about, it's called The Search, and it's about them finding out what happened to Zuko's mom, Ursa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And essentially what happened is she went into hiding, and she had her mind erased a little bit, and so she started up a whole new family, and Zuko didn't want to ruin that for her, so he just let her go.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And then...
but anyway.
Then that's all
we don't need to talk about it right now.
Well, that's all I have to talk about. That's literally it.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one is The Promise, which is about essentially how Republic City became Republic City, like where the idea for this city came from. And it was Zuko was like he wanted to make a place where, everybody's welcome. It's not a Fire Nation place or an Earth Kingdom place. It's its own unique place.
Exactly.
And so yeah, that was our first Sidecast episode, and we will definitely come back once we have finished Korra, and then we will talk about it.
Yeah, and I have lots of opinions about Korra.
Right, and when we can compare Korra to this show, and which I'll come out and say I honestly like Last Airbender better, but
I like them both for different reasons.
I mean, yeah, they're both good. You're getting great shows.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like.
All I mean is I don't really know which one I really like better because I get different things from each.
Right, and we still have to finish Korra, so that you can
yeah,
get
that's
full,
true. I hope it has just a perfect ending. Perfect.
I think you're gonna like the ending. At least of what I know of the ending, you're gonna like that. Okay. But I'm curious to see what happens with the whole rebellion and
what's the chick's name?
No, I don't fucking know.
The new bad guy.
Is she a bad guy?
Kuvira. Kuvira's Gambit. Well, she's not necessarily a bad guy, unless she does shit in later episodes that makes her a bad guy.
Pretty much.
Kuvira, that's the name.
But yeah, that was our first Sidecast. I wouldn't say expect our next one to be the Korra one, because that'll be a while. Because him and I have to get together. We gotta finish it, which we will.
Talk about it, because that's what we do. That's why we watch them together, so we can discuss them.
Right, and also because we fanboy about them.
Oh yeah.
We could talk about on the next episode of Sidecast. We could talk about. We're also watching One Piece and Dragon Ball Z, but neither one of us has finished with One Piece. That's a monster of a.
Yeah, I just started watching it. I'm like 60 something, maybe 70 episodes in.
Right, and I'm like.
But I'm digging it. I think it's awesome.
It is a cool show.
Really enjoying it.
I'm like 300 or 400 episodes in, and I'm still, I don't know, halfway, if that.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, maybe next time we'll talk about one of those, or we could talk about like Kingdom Hearts or something. We'll think about it. We'll decide. And if anybody does watch this and is like interested in the next one, you're welcome to leave a comment of just like, what do you want us to talk about? If we know what it is, we might. Whatever. Wouldn't hurt to ask. And
if enough people, there are certain topics we've been trying to avoid on both this show and the other one, just because they might be a hot topic issue. Yeah, it's true. I don't really feel like talking about religion or politics, things of that nature. Politics, yeah. I mean, I'd like more for the show, at least for now, to be very, very spry, very
lighthearted, I guess.
Yeah, that was the word I was thinking.
Entertainment focused. Like, we talk about things that we enjoy, not necessarily our beliefs in things.
Right. If you want our opinion on, let's say, a religious practice or maybe a law or something that's happening with politics, okay, we might have an opinion. But if you want to know what our religion is, or what our beliefs are, or what our political alignment is, that's not what we're here for.
We don't feel like talking about it right now. Maybe sometime, but
if enough people really want to know, we might divulge that. But that probably will be on the main show.
Yeah, not on a sidecast. Sidecast is supposed to be just a thing. Today we're going to talk about not comic books. Today we're going to talk about this specific comic book. Today we're going to talk about this book or whatever. Originally we were going to do the Avatar franchise in this episode, but we just talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender show just so much that there's more we can do. The idea is that we talk about something like this.
Right. These episodes, the sidecast was kind of meant to be a lot shorter than the main.
Exactly.
Because we're focusing on just one topic. We're trying very hard not to
stray too much.
Because the main show, we could talk about literally everything and anything, and we plan to. But this one is more like, hey, we want to talk about this specific thing, what we think about it, and that's it.
All right. We all get it now. We good.
But thank you again for listening to our show. We appreciate.
Yes, thank you. Anyone who made it to this point, if you are hearing this word now, thank you for sticking around.
If this
Go ahead and throw a like, subscribe if you liked it, or if you want to know more.
Right.
If you want to hear more, I guess. It's not see. You want to hear more.
If this is the first episode of ours that you've listened to, we do also have Sidecast, but do expect that to be different because we all.
Much different.
We are going to have...
And it's screaming into the ether. Sidecast.
Screaming into the ether. Sidecast, it's not an acronym. It's on the side.
No, it's a play on Sidecast.
Right. In our main show, you'll hear our other co-host, Eric. His mic isn't as great because at the time he was using his mic that was built into his laptop, so the quality's a little not as great, but on the next show, I believe he is getting a new mic, so you will definitely hear him better. And
I don't think this is the time to go into all this.
No,
I think we're good now. We can always make a separate video.
Right. So
about news and stuff.
We were your hosts. I'm Chris.
I'm Justin.
And thank you again for joining us on our first episode of Sidecast.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time.